High above the clouds, beyond the snow-covered peaks of the Himalayas, lies a land once feared as mysterious and untamed. A land of spirits, mountains, rituals, and ancient kings. This was Tibet, in the 8th century, and from this harsh and sacred landscape emerged the oldest school of Tibetan Buddhism, the Nyingma tradition. Known as the Ancient Ones, the Nyingma school would become the foundation of Tibetan spiritual culture, preserving mystical teachings, meditation practices, and esoteric wisdom for more than 12 centuries. This is the story of Guru Padmasambhava, King Trisong Detsen, the first monastery of Tibet, and the birth of Vajrayana Buddhism in the land of snows. Before Buddhism arrived, Tibet was dominated by the ancient Bon religion, a spiritual tradition centered around nature spirits, mountain gods, rituals, and shamanic ceremonies. The Tibetan people believed that invisible forces controlled storms, disease, harvests, and even destiny itself. Mountains were sacred. Lakes were inhabited by spirits, and every valley carried stories of demons and supernatural beings. Then came a powerful king, King Trisong Detsen. During the 8th century, the Tibetan Empire was expanding rapidly across Central Asia. But the king sought something greater than military conquest. He sought spiritual transformation. Inspired by Buddhist teachings spreading from India and China, Trisong Detsen dreamed of turning Tibet into a Buddhist civilization. But bringing Buddhism into Tibet would not be easy. The king invited one of India's greatest Buddhist scholars, Shantaraksita, a renowned abbot from Nalanda University. Shantaraksita began teaching Buddhist philosophy and monastic discipline in Tibet. But according to Tibetan tradition, strange obstacles appeared almost immediately. Storms destroyed construction sites. Lightning struck temples. Earthquakes shook the land. The Tibetan people believed the local spirits were furious at the arrival of Buddhism. Shantaraksita advised the king, "There is only one master powerful enough to tame these forces." And so, the king sent messengers to India to invite a legendary tantric master, Padmasambhava. To the Nyingma school, Padmasambhava was not merely a teacher. He was the second Buddha. Born, according to legend, from a lotus flower in the mystical land of Udayana, Padmasambhava became one of the greatest masters of Vajrayana Buddhism. He was known as Guru Rinpoche, Precious Master. His life blended history and myth. Some traditions describe him as a wandering yogi, others as a tantric magician capable of controlling spirits and transforming reality itself. When Guru Padmasambhava entered Tibet, the spiritual history of the Himalayas changed forever. According to Tibetan tradition, Padmasambhava traveled across mountains, caves, and valleys, subduing hostile spirits and converting them into protectors of Buddhism. Rather than destroying Tibet's ancient beliefs, he transformed them. Local gods became dharma protectors. Sacred mountains became pilgrimage sites. Ancient rituals were absorbed into Buddhist symbolism. This unique blending of Indian Buddhism and Tibetan spirituality became one of the defining features of the Nyingma tradition. To many Tibetans, Guru Rinpoche was more than human. He was a mystical bridge between worlds. In the late 8th century, construction began on Sami Monastery, the first Buddhist monastery in Tibetan history. Designed like a cosmic mandala, Sami symbolized the Buddhist universe itself. Indian scholars, Tibetan translators, and tantric masters gathered there for one of the greatest translation projects in Asian history. Under royal command, hundreds of Buddhist scriptures were translated from Sanskrit into Tibetan. These became known as the Old Translations, and from these ancient translations, the Nyingma school was born. This was more than translation. It was the creation of an entirely new spiritual civilization. Scholars such as Vimalamitra Vairotsana, Yeshe Tsogyal helped preserve and transmit Buddhist teachings throughout Tibet. Among them, one figure became especially revered, Yeshe Tsogyal. She is considered one of Tibet's greatest female masters, a disciple and spiritual companion of Padmasambhava. Nyingma tradition honors her as the mother of Tibetan Buddhism. Together, these masters established meditation systems, tantric rituals, sacred chants, and yogic practices that continue to survive today. The Nyingma tradition developed a unique spiritual system called the 9 yanas, or the 9 vehicles to enlightenment. These teachings guide practitioners from basic ethics and meditation to advanced tantric transformation, and finally to the highest teaching of all, Dzogchen, the Great Perfection. According to Nyingma masters, the true nature of mind is already pure, luminous, and enlightened. Enlightenment is not something created. It is something recognized. Dzogchen teaches direct awareness beyond thought, beyond ego, beyond illusion itself. For the Nyingma school, this became the ultimate path. Dzogchen became the spiritual heart of Nyingma Buddhism. Its teachings were often transmitted in isolated caves, hidden valleys, and mountain hermitages. Masters emphasized direct experience over intellectual debate, silence over philosophy, awareness over ritual. Practitioners learned to rest in pure consciousness, free from attachment, fear, and illusion. To Nyingma practitioners, every sound, every breath, every moment is part of the sacred unfolding of reality itself. One of the most mysterious aspects of the Nyingma school is the tradition of terma, hidden treasure teachings. According to tradition, Padmasambhava and Yeshe Tsogyal concealed sacred teachings throughout Tibet. Some were hidden in caves, others within mountains, lakes, temples, and even human consciousness itself. Centuries later, special masters called tertons rediscovered these teachings when humanity was spiritually ready. This allowed the Nyingma tradition to renew itself continuously across generations, a living tradition, constantly reborn. In the 9th century, disaster struck Tibetan Buddhism. King Langdharma opposed Buddhism and began persecuting monasteries across Tibet. Temples were destroyed. Monks fled into exile. The Tibetan Empire collapsed into chaos. But the Nyingma teachings survived, not through armies or political power, but through wandering yogis, hidden practitioners, and secret oral lineages passed from master to disciple. For centuries, the teachings endured quietly in remote valleys and isolated mountain communities, preserving Tibet's ancient spiritual heritage. Over the centuries, many extraordinary masters revitalized the Nyingma lineage. Among the greatest was Longchenpa, the philosopher who systematized Dzogchen teachings into profound spiritual literature. Then came Jigme Lingpa, a master famous for revealing hidden treasure teachings. Mipham Rinpoche expanded Buddhist philosophy and scholarship during the 19th century, and Dujom Rinpoche became one of the most influential modern leaders of the Nyingma school. Their teachings preserved Tibetan Buddhism through war, exile, and political upheaval. Today, the Nyingma tradition continues across Tibet, India, Nepal, Bhutan, Ladakh, and the wider world. Its monasteries preserve rituals over 1,000 years old. Its meditation teachings attract practitioners from every continent. And Guru Padmasambhava remains one of the most beloved spiritual figures in Himalayan Buddhism. In temples, homes, and mountain monasteries, his mantra still echoes through the Himalayas, Om Ahum Vajra Guru Padma Siddhi Hum, a sacred prayer believed to remove obstacles and awaken wisdom. From the frozen mountains of ancient Tibet to meditation halls across the modern world, the Nyingma tradition has endured for more than 12 centuries, a lineage of hidden treasures, mystical masters, sacred mountains, and profound teachings on the nature of mind. It began with a king's vision, a wandering master, and a monastery beneath the shadow of the Himalayas. And even today, the wisdom of the ancient ones continues to flow, like an endless river through time.